The following may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Livestock farmer survives harrowing home invasion. Hogtied, BEATEN, with a stainless steel pot, sprayed with insecticide, and set on FIRE for $5,500 and a gold ring is what 69-year-old livestock farmer Wayne Bowen endured 2 weeks ago when 3 assailants entered his Kimoto Road Wallerfield home demanding cash and valuables. To ensure that the ARMED intruders did not ASSAULT or erase his wife, Bowen said he had to put up a fight that almost cost him his life. Still traumatized and shaken by the near-death experience, Bowen said, "What is happening in the farming community of Wallerfield is not predial larceny. It is robbery with VIOLENCE. We are under siege by criminal elements who have been making our lives a living hell," Bowen said. Bowen's first encounter with the assailants took place on April 22, when he was awakened by a noise outside his home, and upon checking, saw one of his glass windows had been broken by 2 men who were trying to remove his burglar bars. The assailants then went to the back door and tried to break in. "I raised an alarm, but this did not even scare them. They kept demanding that I open up," Bowen recalled. Bowen said he pulled out a MACHETE and stood at the side of the door waiting to see their next course of action. Meanwhile, his frantic 65-year-old wife, Maria, telephoned E911 for help, but the officer who took the call, after questioning Bowen, told him he did not need assistance and ended the call. The elderly couple were then left to fend for themselves. "Luckily, one of the thieves looked up and saw me with the BLADE in my hand, and they ran off," said Bowen. Almost a month later, on May 19, Bowen's home was again invaded by 3 assailants wearing ski masks while he was tending to his livestock around 5 a.m. "The men hid in a goat pen and launched an ATTACK while my back was turned." Bowen said he reacted, and a tussle began with the intruders, one of whom was ARMED. But Bowen was overpowered, manhandled, and dragged inside his home where his wife was getting ready for work. "When I reached the living room, I decided to put up another fight to distract them from going after my wife, because these home invasions don't ever end up nice, especially for women," Bowen said. He said he bit one of the assailant's fingers, squeezed the TESTICLES of another, and charged into the third. Unfortunately, the assailants managed to restrain Bowen and hogtie the couple. "We had $5,500 in cash and my wife's wedding ring, which we gave them," said Bowen. However, the assailants wanted more and began ransacking their home. "They turned everything upside down in the house, but came up empty-handed. That's when they started BEATING me for more money and jewelry." Helpless and lying on the ground in his living room, Bowen was repeatedly GUNBUTTED, PUNCHED in his face, ear, and stomach, and KICKED in his ribs by the heartless and vicious assailants. "They hit me so hard that my eardrum burst. They kept telling me that the amount of animals I have outside, I must have more money and jewels in the house. They say during COVID, farmers did not stop working because people had to eat food, so I must have money stashed away. But I had already given them all that I had. That's when they say they will BREAK my legs if I did not say where I was hiding the money," Bowen said. The men went into the kitchen and returned with a stainless steel pot and mercilessly began BEATING Bowen on his legs. "Lord, they BEAT me with that pot until the rivets that holding the handle get slack. It was blows evermore. I just sat there wreathing in pain. When they realize the licks weren't working, they say they will light me on FIRE. At that point, Maria began to cry and pleaded with the assailants to desist from further harming, and ASSAULT, her husband, whose face was already swollen and covered in blood. But they just didn't care. Them fellas came with the devil and Satan in them. They picked up a tin of insecticide and sprayed the coverall I was wearing. Bowen knew the worst was yet to come and tried to crawl to his wife to comfort her for what he thought was their last night on earth. As Bowen inched his way closer to his wife, two of the assailants held him down, while the third assailant used a cigarette lighter to set the hem of his coverall on FIRE. His heart raced as the flickering FLAME BURNED through his socks. I began saying the 23rd Psalm and praying aloud because I know I was walking through the valley of death. Bowen even asked God for forgiveness. However, his prayers were answered when the flame suddenly went out. Bowen said the assailants repeated the procedure twice, but on both occasions the FIRE was extinguished on its own. I have to say, through God's divine intervention I was saved, but these men were still adamant that they didn't get enough. There I accepted the fact that I could still die and told the bandits, I have nothing else to give all you. So here what to do. All you go ahead and KILL me, just KILL me. They told me as my wife they wanted to KILL so they could watch me suffer. Bowen said after hours of this harrowing home invasion, daybreak came and the assailants decided to leave. Before leaving, they helped themselves to a pork leg and shoulder in the freezer, bottles of brandy and whiskey, or TV and other appliances which they placed in our car and made good their escape. The couple managed to free themselves and Bowen was taken to the Arima General Hospital where he was treated and discharged. A report was also made to the Arima police station. I hope when the Lord ready and he light his FIRE on them wicked and evil bandits, they could take it like a man, the same way I took my punishment, because God don't sleep, Bowen said. Still recovering mentally and physically from his ordeal, Bowen said, I wouldn't tell anybody to do what I did, because at that moment I did what I felt I had to do, because if I didn't fight them and allow them to peacefully tie me up, my wife would have been in serious problems. My wife might have been DEAD today. The kind of pressure I take from them fellows, my wife would not have been able to take a quarter of that. She would have DIED, and they might have KILLED me too in the process. So it was a fight for life. The car was found abandoned in Wallerfield days later. Bowen said it was his third home invasion and robbery. Head of the Northern Division Senior Superintendent Christopher Pomponet said on Sunday that the police investigation has led to an arrest and charge of one suspect, and the investigation is ongoing. Pomponet admitted that there were incidents of people being robbed in the Wallerfield area in the last few months. Because of this, we have increased the patrols, and we are also in consultation with the Defense Force to partner with them. We are also examining other strategies for the community. Pomponet also promised to investigate Bowen's claims that an officer failed to act when his life was in danger. You know that is not what police officers are taught. We are trained in customer service. Sometimes these incidents embarrass the police, and I hope this did not occur. If it did occur, we will look into it, Pomponet said. Acting Police Commissioner McDonald Jacob said he knows the TTPS has come under some criticisms lately, but his officers are trying their best. In fact, next week we will be having a meeting with the mayor to cover all these areas in Wallerfield.